Hello, everyone. Welcome live to 3Y TV Giants broadcast of the Total Nonstop Racing League from the beautiful Homestead Miami Speedway, located just outside Miami. It is going to be a fantastic show here tonight. I'm Peter Stroh. Joining me in the booth here tonight is Bob Giacinto. And Bob, we've been talking about this prior to the race. The biggest field we have seen so far this year in the Total Nonstop Racing League. 21 cars out there right now. This is going to be a good show.
Absolutely, it's fantastic. I love seeing such a huge field for this league. And like you'd mentioned, it's the largest league that largest field that we've had so far since the league became, you know, got reinstated. And man, I am excited to get this one going.
Yeah, absolutely. I, as well, am very excited to have this race get underway here tonight. Definitely going to be a fun one. As you see the number 4 machine, Jason Gracias, pull out there onto the racetrack. He's been on a roll here as of late here, Bob. Definitely that number 4. You can't count him out here tonight. And currently, he sits second fastest here in this practice session, as we only have 38 seconds left in it.
Yeah, Jason Gracias really has been on a tear all season long, leading the point standings tonight, coming into it with 215 points. That is 7 points ahead of number 2 Philip Scott in the league. But Jason, 2 wins so far on the season, average start of 4th and an average finish of 3rd. It's those consistent numbers that really has given him this lead into the points as he gets a little sideways coming out of turn number 2.
Yeah, it goes around there, and no harm, no foul here in the practice session. There's Vincent Valvano currently being scored down in the 14th position in that Valvoline Chevrolet. Checkered flag out here for practice. He'll come around and try and complete his lap here before we go over into the qualifying session here in just a brief moment. And there you can see we are indeed jumping over into qualifying, so we'll wait for these drivers to get out there on the racetrack. A great look here from high atop this 1.5 mile racetrack. There is Valvano lining up there at the end of pit road, and he's going to get us underway here for qualifying. One thing to note here, Bob, about this racetrack is it's got a little bit of progressive banking. So that gives the high line a little bit of an advantage. The low line, however, here, no slouch. Going to be interesting to see exactly what line here works tonight.
Yeah, a lot of strategy coming into tonight's race. Some guys going to ride the high line right up against the wall. They have to be careful. Obviously, just like in real life racing, where you don't want to get too much of that wall too soon and destroy the rest of your race. But that bottom line, obviously, the shorter way around in air quotes. So it's going to be really interesting to see what some of these guys are going to be doing as this race goes on.
Yeah, we'll watch Philip Scott here as he gets to the line here. Just came off pit road. This will be his first timed lap in that number 8 mobile. You kind of see him running a little bit up there on the racetrack. Most racetracks in iRacing that are not progressively banked, you see them right down there on the white line at the bottom of the racetrack. But here, Philip Scott using that middle groove to try and utilize just a little bit more banking. Now headed off into turn number 3 and 4. Very, very fast racetrack, this one. One of the faster 1.5 miles that we go to. Possibly a little bit sideways coming out of turn number 3 into 4, but he's able to gather it back up. And that number 8 machine will jump currently to the top of the board. Now that we see some qualifying times coming up, there you see it, left-hand side of your screen, the number 8 of Philip Scott, going to be currently on the provisional pole. We watched him all the way around this racetrack, and sitting in second right now, Zach Howell in the 00 machine. But as I say that, Matt White in the number 9 Dodge Charger going to jump up to the board. And I'll tell you what, Bob, that number 9 looks very, very fast here tonight.
Oh, for sure. It looks super fast right there. 32.814 seconds so far. And Matt Leach just puts up a second place lap time, 32.825. But really, really fast for these laps. And this is going to be a good race.
Yeah, absolutely. Hot lap Ron Chicky going to jump up into the 3rd position. You see him right there. But as I say that, it looks like he's going to jump to top of the board on lap number 2. How about that, folks? A 32.664, a 1/10.5 faster than the number 9 of Matt White. Ron Chicky, hot lap Ron, living up to his name.
Man, what a blistering lap there by Ron. 32.6 seconds. really just blew away the rest of the field as Jason Freeman is out on the track right now making his lap. Same with Tristan Maher. Both of them going across the line. Maher right now in 8th. Freeman jumped up to the 4th position. Now it's Dave Harvey.
Yeah, Dave Harvey getting a little bit high up on the racetrack, maybe trying to get to the green flag lap. That's not really where you want to be. We talked about this racetrack being progressively banked, but that high line has some bumps up there that you can hit, and when you hit those bumps, it can send you up into the outside wall. It's happened to me before. Be right on board here with the number 77 of Harvey as he heads down the backstretch. You'll see exactly what line he takes here in turn number 3 and 4. Of course, he might just be trying to get that 77 Hisense Toyota Camry wound up to put in a fast lap. Here he comes to the stripe to complete his first of the 2 time laps that he gets around the racetrack. Looks like he's going to drop in with a 33.268, currently sitting in the 13th position as we see a couple of other drivers start to shuffle in. Fernando Matos in the 71, currently sitting in 12th. He's out there on the racetrack. Jason Gracias in the number 4, also out there on the racetrack here, hustling his way down the back stretch. And we'll see what he can do here in turn number 3 and 4. I'll tell you what, I think he's going to try and get down to that first seam. And based on my experience here at this racetrack, Bob, it seems like that first seam is where you want to be, at least for qualifying. Gracias on lap number 2 jumps up to 2nd on the board.
Wow, what a quick lap. And absolutely, Peter, that first seam is really going to be the groove these guys are want to go to through qualifying. Just enough banking, still low enough on the track, so it's the the shorter way around, so to speak. But it really gives these guys some great momentum coming across the line as the 5 of Billy Thornton gets into the wall here.
Yeah, a lot of right front damage on that car. He's going to pull off the racetrack. Here comes Fernando Matos. Looks like he, well, I thought he was coming back out there on the racetrack to maybe get another qualifying lap in, but looks like he will go no further because the checkered flag has come out here at the Homestead Miami for the qualifying. And we will jump over here into the race here shortly. But fantastic job by the number 52 of Hot Lap, Ron Chicky, to be starting on the pole. Great lap. I'm sure all the Ron Chicky fans in the chat will be happy. Anne Marie saying, "Let's go, Chicky, you the band." K Pitty saying, "Let's go." Of course, K Pitty, Kyle Givishausen in the number 44 machine. We'll see him out there here tonight. But before these cars continue to line up, look at the beautiful racetrack that is out here in Homestead, not all too far from Miami. And Bob, this has kind of become a fan favorite when it comes to mile-and-a-half racetracks.
Absolutely. It's not your standard cookie cutter shape track that a lot of the 1.5 mile tracks are in NASCAR. But the progressive banking has been absolutely huge. The fans love it because there are so many different ways to get around this track. You can go all the way down on that white line, about midway through, even all the way up against the outside wall, and almost give yourself the Darlington stripe. But at Homestead, it's really not ideal to get in the wall and use that wall to help you make that turn.
Absolutely. Before these cars go out there to start gridding, definitely want to give a huge shout out to Thornton Graphix for jumping on board and sponsoring this season here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Make sure you check them out. There's a link in the description. I promise you, you just have to hit the Show More button right underneath the iRacing logo, and you'll be able to see a link to Thornton Graphix. Meanwhile, all of the cars now gridding there on pit road. And Bob, why don't you take us through tonight's starting line?
All right, well, starting on the pole this evening, Ron Chicky, Hot Lap Ron, starting first with a time of 32.664 seconds. On the outside, the 4, our points leader, Jason Gracias, right now with a 32.825. Starting on third, number 9, Matt White, and on his outside, the 63 machine of Matt Leach. In the 5th position, number 20, Jason Freeman, and right next to him, the 8, Ninja Philip Scott, starting in 6th. 7th place, Mike Floppy Tellier on the 97 machine, and outside of him in 8th position, the 41 of Tony Lucarelli. On the inside of row number 5 in 9th, Billy Thornton in the number 5 Thornton Graphix car. And outside of him, the number 70 machine, of Chris Darling.
Absolutely. Well, we will round out the field for you here as we are coming to the green flag on row number 6, Tristan Mayer and Zach Howell. Row number 7, Fernando Matos and Dave Harvey. Row number 8, Ben Mashburn, Matt Monticelli. Row number 9, Vincent Valvano, last car to qualify. Garrett Gleason will be starting in 18th. Kyle Geveshausen, Steve Kegman, and Austin Grover round out your 21 cars, but the pace car is off and the green flag is out, and already the number 4 machine, your current points leader, Jason Grassi, has got a bit of a head start. We got one car in the back who's in the outside wall. That looked like possibly Garrett Gleason, who got a little bit of wall glue. Meanwhile, back up at the front, though, it is the number 4, Jason Grassi, as your current points leader, who scooted away here to an early lead at Homestead Miami.
Yeah, side by side behind him. This is exactly what Gracias wants to see coming into turn number 3. Side by side racing. That's Matt Leach on the outside, and on the inside, the pole sitter, Hot Lap Ron, as they come out of turn number 4 and lead them to the line. Gracias gets it, but a huge move coming now on the inside from Matt Leach, and Leach looks like he's going to try to take the top spot.
Yeah, Leach got a fantastic launch coming out of turn number 4, and that number 63 just going to get to the front. Now we're looking at a side-by-side battle back behind them because Hot Lap Run's trying to get back but around the number 4. But look at the car to his outside. That's the number 9 of Matt White. Matt White running a very Matt White scheme. If you know anything about Matt White back in the day, he would always run the number 9 schemes, and that's what he has here tonight. I absolutely loved that KCK number 9 Mopar machine back in the day. I always thought that was a great looking ride, and great to see it out there here tonight in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Back behind them side by side, that is Mike Floppy Tellier getting to the inside of Jason Freeman. They're going to back things down and go single file. Meanwhile, a little bit further back here is Chris Darling in the 70, and the 41 of Lucarelli. Here comes Tristan Mayer trying to take that position from the 41. So all of a sudden, we've been seeing some good battles here in the early go.
Yeah, some real good side-by-side battles, some really great clean racing as well for all of these drivers so far. But right out front, Matt Leach still pulling out to about a half-second lead, and looks like he's starting to try to pull away.
Yeah, that number 63 is definitely very, very quick. Got a lot of clean air on the nose, and you see the whole field kind of flashing by. Look at all the fans taking all the pictures here down the front stretch. Not quite sure how good of pictures those people all the way off in turn number 1 are going to get. But these cars are really hauling the mail here around this racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, we're already 5 laps into the race. We have the competition caution coming at the end of lap 20 for the stage. And like always here in Total Nonstop Racing League, the top 3 drivers will each receive some stage points. The winner gets 3 points, second place 2, and third place gets 1. So expect a little bit of a bubble battle as this race gets on closer towards lap 20 to get some guys some extra points here.
Absolutely, and look at this gaggle of cars still. Matt White in third, Ron Chicky trying to get back up to that third position using that lower groove, but look right behind him. That's Mike Floppy Tellier, Jason Freeman, and almost contact there coming out of turn number 2. Still almost contact, and we look to be 3 wide down the backstretch. Hot Lap Run stuck in the middle. Freeman to his high side, the 97 of Tellier to his inside, and just like that, your pole sitter is going to drop back to around the 5th position, trying to hold on to that 5th position, if you will, because here comes Jason Freeman on the high side.
Man, I have no idea how these guys did not wreck right there. Side by side, coming out of turn number 2. Some of them coming off of the higher banking out on the outside. I have no idea how they didn't wreck because, man, that was close.
It was very, very close. Here comes the number 8 machine trying to drop to the inside. That's Philip Scott, just trying to use that inside groove to his advantage. We'll see if he can make the move on Hot Lap Run. Looks like he indeed does. So Hot Lap Run right here struggling in the early going. Turn that hot lap in qualifying. Now he's going to fall back behind the number 5. He's just trying to possibly settle in here. Now he's going to try and look underneath Billy Thornton and the Thornton Graphix Chevrolet. Tristan Mayer right behind him in the Pennzoil race car. And then the number 77, Dave Harvey, trying to get inside the top 10, currently running in 11th. Biggest mover of the race so far would be 2 drivers. In fact, Christopher Darling in the number 70. You see him right there on the right-hand side of your screen trying to fend off Philip Scott right there. He's picked up 4 positions. Mike Tellier and Matt Leach both picking up 3. And you have to go all the way down to Austin Grover, another driver who's picked up 4 positions like the number 70 of Chris Darling. Coming out of the corner here, getting a little bit close. Meanwhile, back up at the front, the number 9 of Matt Leach. Matt White. A couple of Matts up the front. It's a Matt and Matt show right now. We got Matt Leach and Matt White. And White's trying to run down Leach, not quite able to do so. We'll see what the lap times are like this time by. And you can see right there, Matt White last time about 1.5 to 2 tenths faster than the 63. We might be seeing a battle for the race lead here before all too long.
Yeah, battle for the race league, but don't count out Mike Tellier quite yet. He's just outside of those two, and he's right there in the catbird seat, sitting there saying, man, if these two guys get together, slow each other down just by racing, this could be my chance to jump ahead and get around these guys.
And look at that number 9 machine digging down there on the inside groove, not able to find enough out of turn number 4 to make the move this time. But look at what Leach did there, Bob. The number 9's been running a little bit lower on the racetrack, and I think Leach saw that, and he said, you know what, I'm going to try that line this time and see if it's any better for me, because he's definitely been losing just a little bit of time to the number 9. And we'll see now that he's using that lower groove, if he can kind of find groove, so to speak, and hit his marks and try and hold on to the lead before we get this stage caution here about 9 laps.
Yeah, there's always that risk versus reward where, you've been running some pretty fast lap times in your own lane, but now you see the guy behind you running a different lap time or a different lane, and he's having some faster lap times here as Matt Leach looks to the inside, or Matt White rather looks to the inside of Leach. They're side by side. But it's always a double-edged sword there, where if you're having some consistent lap times up top, do you go down and try to take that line away from the guy behind you? Do you keep running your line? What do you do? And right now, it worked out for Matt White.
Yeah, Matt White going to jump to the race lead for the first time here tonight. Leach now back to second, although Leach is just going to try diving underneath him here in turn number 1 and 2. Now he's down there kind of in that lighter gray groove. Whoa, big slide out of the number 63 of Leach, and he slides right up in front of White. This is some good battling. That was a huge slide from the number 63 just to kind of cut off in front of him. A little bit of a slide job there from that number 63 as they once again do battle here in 3 and 4. This is where we saw White better 1 lap ago. He was able to take the race lead. He will be ahead at the stripe this time. And the number 97 of Tellier, he's right there behind him.
Man, this is such a great battle. Really clean battle as well. We had a fantastic slide job by the 63. And, I believe Mike Tellier just, if not got into the 63. That was really, really close here, but some fantastic racing here at the front of the pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see them working their way through turn number 3 and 4 now. Looked like the 63 might have had a little bit of a bobble there in turn number 1. And that actually allowed the number 9 to scoot away. So Matt White, your race leader now by a couple tenths of a second. And, oh, man, Leach just came right down the racetrack, just chopped off the nose of that number 97. And Leach now going to still hold on to that second spot for now, but I'm sure he's holding on for dear life. Back behind them, Jason Gracias in the 4th position in the number 4. A little bit of 4-for-4 action right there. No, this isn't sponsored by Wendy's and Jason Friedman, but look at this battle back behind them. That's Hot Lap Ron Chicky trying to get the spot back from the number 70 of Darling. We highlighted that Darling was the biggest mover of the race up until that point. Well, now he is going to lose the spot back to, Hot Lap Ron going for a spin. No, he saved it. Wow. And no, he saved it. Wow.
Man, oh man, Hot Lap Ron there, completely sideways, drifting it through turns 1 and 2. I have no idea how he didn't let that thing spin away from him. But I know if I'm Hot Lap Ron, I'm sitting there screaming for a caution right now.
Here's a little bit of the replay. There might have been a little bit of help there from the 70 of Darling. Not 100% sure, but nonetheless, that was a big save. That was the second huge save for Hot Lap Ron. He's going to jump back in the throttle. He's currently being scored down in 12th as of now. Good news for him is a caution flag will be coming out here shortly. Mike Floppy Tellier was able to get past Matt Leach, Jason Gracias, and Jason Freeman. So we got a couple of Matts up in the top 5. We got a couple of Jasons in the top 5. And Mike Tellier's the odd one out. There's, you know, 2 Matts, 2 Jasons, and only 1 Mike in the top 5. So good job so far by Mike Floppy Tellier. Trying to run down the number 9 of Matt White. Seems like it's all for naught as White has kind of checked out, turned on the afterburners. Last time by, White was, get this, folks, Matt White last time by about 0.2 of a second faster than Mike Tellier. So that number 9 definitely knows how to get around this joint very, very quickly, and he's showing us how it's done so far.
Yeah, really, he's just been so consistent, hitting his marks lap in and lap out. He was able to hunt down the 63 of Matt Leach, put him behind him after a quick battle. So watch out for Matt White. He might want to try to steal this one early.
Side-by-side battle here between the 63 and the 4, and looks like the 4 of Gracias is now going to get up into 3rd. That's going to open the door here for the number 20 of Freeman. Of course, caution flag going to be flying here very, very shortly around this 1.5-mile racetrack, and Freeman, he's going to try and take that position, but remember, Bob, only the top 3 finishers, get bonus points for their finish in the first stage.
Yeah, right now there's going to be a bit of a bubble battle here as we have the last lap here in the stage. Jason Gracias has it. Matt Leach just behind him, about 0.3 or so behind him. So this is going to be an interesting one as they come down the back straightaway.
Yeah, Matt Leach, Jason Freeman still locked together side by side as they head off into turn number 3. We saw the 63 get out to the lead very early on, but he seems like he might be struggling with those tires just a little bit, and there is the stage caution. So give the stage win to the number 9 to Matt White. Mike Floppy Tellier going to finish in 2nd in the stage, and Jason Gracias, your points leader, going to pick up 1 bonus point for the 3rd place finish in stage number 1. Freeman looks like he's going to take the 4th spot away from Matt Leach, and then Christopher Darling rounding out your top 6. So a very, very interesting first stage here. All green running here. Got to give a shout out to Logie Bear saying row number 3. We'll have to see, what was it that you were highlighting? Row number 3, we had Jason Freeman in row number 3, as well as Philip Scott. Oh, of course it's Philip Scott. That is the man. Meanwhile, like everyone's going to come down pit road. Some drivers electing to use the access road. Some drivers not here. And we'll have to see how that all sorts out. But it looks like everyone here are going to be down pit road here for the first time tonight.
Yeah, these guys all have 1 faster pair, 2 sets of tires. They started this race out on 55% fuel, so I'm sure all of these guys were screaming, saying, you know what, let me get some tires now. Especially some of the guys further back. Ron Chicky was sideways through 1 and 2 that we saw earlier, so I'm sure he definitely wanted some new tires and try to do a little bit of an adjustment as he started on pole, but then fell back fairly quickly.
And in fact, that number 52, Ron Chicky, he's the one who's right there in his pit box. Meanwhile, race off pit road was a good one. Looks like Mike Tellier is going to win the race off pit road. Oh, Vincent Valvano there in the number 30. He missed his pit box, and he's got to be careful here because he could receive a black, and he's gone. He's received a black flag for reversing on the racetrack on pit road, and we'll have to see whether or not the admins can clear that or not. Hopefully they can, but at least for now, the number 38 of Vincent Valvano is currently black flagged and disqualified. We had a couple of drivers elect to stay out, Austin Grover, Garrett Gleason, and Kyle Geveshausen. Those drivers will now come down and make their first pit stop here. Let's see if we can possibly go out there and dial up some of these drivers here today. Anyone in particular that you want to get a word with here, Bob?
You know what? Let's see if we can chat with Matt White after winning that stage.
Let's see if we can drag him in here. Hey, Matt White, here's your 3 TV booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. I'll tell you what, that number 9 Dodge looked like it had quite the Mopar engine in it. We're about to go back to green here shortly, but how's it running out there?
Good. Once the tires start coming, it really pulls away from everybody else.
Yeah, you definitely looked fast. This racetrack, is it a racetrack you enjoy?
Oh, one of my best. That's why I'm here tonight, just trying to put on a good show for the fans, everybody out there watching.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to it. We're about to go back to green flag. Best of luck there, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, well, a little bit of a quick yellow here, which is nice, Bob, but not able to get any more words because the drivers got to get back to what they need to do, and that is racing here at Homestead Miami. So green flag about to come out, pace car headed down pit road, and the race leader, Mike Floppy Tellier, gets us back underway here in the 1.5 mile racetrack. Now just about 57 more laps to go. First whole stage went caution-free. Hopefully we can go caution-free from here to the end. There's only one stage here and as I say that will not happen. Caution flag is flying here at Homestead, and we'll have to go back and see if we can figure out what happened here. This is on the restart going off into turn number 1. I saw Billy Thornton off the pace. Oh, looks like Fernando Matos in the 71 went around. Oh, Matt Monticelli getting involved. That is going to bring out the first caution here tonight. First real caution of them.
Yeah, just a tough break there for Billy Thornton. Didn't have much of a place to go. The 71 had gotten sideways, and it was just kind of hanging on for the ride from there on out.
You see that 71 going around, and oh man, that is a tough break. Now these drivers do have a faster pair here in the Total Nonstop Racing League, so I expect to see a couple of these drivers use that faster pair. Here we go on board with Vincent Valvano. Let's see Vincent Valvano's look at this because, man, he did a fantastic job of getting through that accident without any further damage. So that Valvoline Chevy Impala will live to fight another day. You see Matt Monticelli there in the 84. He, on the other hand, has quite a bit of damage. I expect to see him come down pit road and use his faster pair. Once these drivers kind of get lined back up behind the pace car, I would like to get a quick word with Vincent Valvano because I'll tell you what, that was a pretty impressive move that he made right there to kind of cut up through the track there, Bob. I think we've caught up with him, Bob.
Yeah, we have Vincent Valvano, Bob Giaquinto up in the 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
I got a copy.
Hey, Vincent. So, man, what did you see with that wreck? I know the 71 had gotten sideways, and what a great job avoiding that wreck.
I just saw it opening and put the pedal to the metal and prayed.
And sometimes that's honestly the best way to go through. Right now, running in 15th place, started 17th. How's the car running for you so far?
Feel good. Gets a little loose sometimes. If you get close to the wall, you're bound to get stuck to it. So it's going to be a long race. We got a lot left. We'll see what happens.
Awesome. Well, Vincent, good luck. I'll let you get back to it. And thanks for joining us up here in the booth.
I appreciate it, guys. Great job.
Thanks.
All right, well, that is the number 38 machine, and apparently the race lead is, of course, held by Mike Tellier. But as you can see out front of that number 97 machine, the pace truck lights have been extinguished once again. So this is going to be a quick one. Of course, luckily, Bob, Vincent Valvano did receive a black flag for my racing. However, the admins can actually clear those black flags. Remember, he was caught reversing on pit road and was able to get that cleared and back out there in the race.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic to have him back out there on the track. It's always a tough call when you get black flagged like that by the by the officials, and luckily the admins were able to clear it out for him.
And there you see the number 5 Thornton Graphix machine hustling down the backstretch. He's trying to catch up to the back end of the field. Looks like he did not elect to use a faster pair, so we'll keep that in mind here when we go back to green flag this time. Mike Tellier, still your race leader. Second place, your points leader, the number 4 of Jason Gracias, and then Matt White leading over Matt Leach. Of course, Matt White winning the first stage just a couple of laps ago. Green flag back in the air here for that number 97 of Mike Tellier. He's on the loud pedal. He's going to slice right up in front of the number 4 of Jason Gracias. Matt White there slotting into the 3rd position. Matt Leach and Dave Harvey. That's the first side-by-side battle back here for the 4th position. Jason Freeman now. He's going to come play for the top 5 once again. And whoa, is that the 63 of Leach in the outside wall? It was. He threw him off the right side of that 4, and he's in good position there. Jason Freeman, how badly did that damage? That number 63 will have to fall out. There's Chris Darling in the 70. He's coming through the field. He's now got himself back into the 6th spot after a not so great pit stop. A little bit further back, Ron Chicky in the number 52. He's trying to mount the charge. Remember, Hot Lap Ron was your pole sitter here tonight.
Yeah, Ron was on the pole, fell back fairly quickly as the race went on, and I'm not sure if the car was set up a little bit better for qualifying or if the tires were just used up too quickly or what, but here comes Ron looking to make a move on the outside of Tristan Maher and looking inside of Dave Harvey. Wow, trying to go through wide as they come out of turn number 4, but they think better of it.
Yeah, he just had nowhere to go there. Tried the high line, tried the middle lane, and luckily he was able to make the pass on Harvey. Harvey here sliding back in the number 7. I'm kind of keeping my eye on whether or not that 77 of Harvey might have taken 2 tires. Yeah, getting word that Dave Harvey took 2 tires under that first pit stop that we had at the end of the first stage. So definitely doesn't seem to be working out for Harvey, at least right now. He's all the way down to 13th. He started this race back in 14th, so he still picked up 1 position from the start, but at least for now, clean air on the nose of the 97 at Tellier. 50 laps to go, and he's your race leader.
Yeah, Mike Tellier absolutely smooth, had a great pit stop there during the stage break, able to come out and pick up that lead spot, was second before the caution, so he's able to pick that one up. Matt White just under a second behind him, and now this side-by-side battle between Jason Freeman and Jason Gracias looks like to be won by Freeman as they come out of turn number 4.
Yeah, Freeman was a little bit lower on the racetrack, and I'm not sure if Jason Gracias just kind of got out of the groove there, so to speak, and it seemed like the car just kind of pushed up towards the wall. He had to check up, and that opened up the door. Do we have problems out front? No, maybe just a little bit of connection issues. Saw a bunch of smoke from one of your leaders. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Chris Darling, Matt Leach. Look at Tristan Maher down there on the inside, trying to use that very bottom line. You see a little bit of connection smoke there, so to speak, as the 17 and the 8 continue to battle. This is back for the 7th position right now. The Pennzoil 17, bright yellow, can't miss it right there in front of the 8, and can't rule out your pole sitter here tonight, Ron Chicky. He's worked his way back up into the top 10.
Yeah, I feel like every time we mention Ron Chicky's name, he's in some sort of battle, and really having a pretty good race even after falling back after the start.
Up at the front, though, Mike Tellier still holding on to a little bit of an advantage, but you can see right there Matt White closing in about a 10th and a half last time. We'll have to keep an eye on that battle because we have seen the pace out of that number 9 so far here in the early going. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Tristan Maher, Philip Scott still glued together here, racing down the back stretch. Stephen Doziak in the chat saying, I wish I was racing tonight. Yeah, absolutely wish you were on the racetrack here tonight, Stephen. 21 cars took the green flag here tonight, and all 21 still running out there. Biggest field so far this season in the total Nonstop Racing League. Definitely awesome to see that. We also have a newcomer here tonight. That's the number 24, Ben Mashburn, right there with the Jeff Gordon Pepsi throwback. And great to have Ben in the race here tonight. Of course, Ben is one of the racers in the National Sim Racing Association that we broadcast here on 3 Wide TV on Friday nights. But doing a little bit of double duty on 3 Wide TV this week with showing here tonight at the Homestead Miami in Total Nonstop Racing League. But we're going to jump back up to the front because this battle for the race lead is heating up.
Yeah, it's heating up. That deficit between White and Tellier has shrunk. And now here's Matt White looking on the inside, not right. Actually, look at that. They're side by side now coming out of turn number 2. I thought for sure Matt White was just going to pop in behind Tellier and make the move going into 3 and 4. But man, look at this side by side racing. And this is quite the battle.
Yeah, that number 9. Oh, man, look at that wiggle out of the number 97, Mike Tellier. That is going to give up the race lead to the number 9 of Matt White. Back up front, he's so far led a decent number of laps here in the early going as we close in on the halfway mark now Bob, but it seems like the first half of the race has kind of gone by very, very quickly, and Matt White looks like he's prime to lead us to the halfway mark.
Yeah, Matt White said in that interview, if you're just tuning into the race after the stage, that this is his favorite track. He said he wanted to give the fans a little bit of a show, and so far he's doing a great job, put on a great battle against Floppy, and now still heading out to the lead and picking up about 0.4 of a second now over Mike.
Yeah, and a little bit further back, here's Jason Freeman in the number 20 Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevrolet. He's now going to go for the inside of the number 97 of Tellier here down the backstretch, and this will give him the second position if he's able to clear Tellier. He's able to do so. They're very, very tight between the two, but move Freeman now up into P2. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Jason Gracia still holding on to the fourth position. Remember, he made a charge towards the end of the first stage. We'll have to see whether or not he has the pace to do so here in this second stage as the race continues to move ever so closer to its conclusion. Matt Leach leads a little bit of a train back here of 5 cars. You got Leach, Darling, Mayer, Chicky, and Scott, and Mashburn in the 24 kind of just barely holding on to this group of 5. But look at that 63. Oh, man, look at the 63 sawing at the wheel there. You could see that. Let's see if we can get a little bit of an instant replay on this one, because this is going to be a really good look. If I can find, there we go, finally able to find the onboard cam. Watch the wheel. He's just kind of gnawing at it back and forth. You can just see it's a little bit unstable up there. Not wicked loose, but just enough to kind of unnerve that car where he really has to drive it.
Yeah, that has got to be absolutely scary. Oh, as the 63 gets into the wall there this time. As I was saying earlier, it's got to be a scary thing when you're that loose right up against the wall, and then you have to turn the wheel right towards the wall just to save it. It's got to be a scary feeling.
Yeah, that might have been exactly what led him to get into the outside wall. Matt White will lead the halfway mark, 40 laps down, 40 laps to go. Ron Chicky, now your pole sitter, trying to take the 5th position from Chris Darling, who just inherited that spot after the number 63 of Matt Leach got into the outside retaining wall through turn number 3 and 4. Chicky trying to make that run here down the front stretch. Can't rule out the number 24 of Ben Mashburn, because he's starting to close back in on this group. Also got some other cars in this battle. I'm trying to see what we got going on here. There's a little bit of potential funkiness going on with the live timing and scoring that I have to keep an eye on. But this number 41 of Tony Lucarelli currently running down there in the 11th position. But back up the front, there's Matt White, Jason Freeman, and Mike Floppy Tellier.
So far, so good. A great race up front. Matt White keeping that lead of just under half a second now behind the number 20 machine of Jason Freeman. Freeman right now coming into the race 3rd in points. He was 2nd, but after a good run by Philip Scott at the Indianapolis road course last week, was able to pick up some points on Jason Freeman and move himself in the 2nd place in points. Billy Thornton in 4th points, Tristan Maher rounding out the top 5 in points so far, and all of these guys can pretty much fit under a blanket right now between Philip Scott, Tristan Maher, and the 63 of Matt Leach.
Yeah, I felt a little bit of contact there between the 63 and the 17, and they're still bumping off of one another down the backstretch. Tristan Maher, you mentioned it, top 5 in points. Matt Leach in the number 63 is Leach in the outside wall. He might have clipped the outside wall on entry to turn number 3. That's going to move Zach Howell in the 00. I was seeing a blue car out there, and I was like, oh man, that's the 24 of Ben Mashburn. It's not. It's actually the 00 here of Zach Howell, the Oreo Ritz machine, the Dale Earnhardt Jr. inspired throwback. I absolutely loved that scheme back in the day, and he's going to make the move here on Maher. So Maher goes back to the 9th spot. Howell now up into 8th. Ron Chicky, hot lap run, was able to get around Chris Darling to get himself back in the top 5. So good run for him so far. But another good run so far is the fact that we're still under green here. Only one real caution flag here tonight. We did have one That was, of course, for the first stage, but this man right here has led quite a few laps. Matt Monticelli in the number 84 appears to have taken the 84 Beavis and Butthead machine to pit road. Kyle Geveshausen, he's doing some off-roading here. That mellow yellow machine, get him a mellow yellow, because that doesn't look like he's all too mellow right now. Just rally crossing it through the gravel traps here at this racetrack, and looks like he's finally going to find his way back to pit road. We mentioned it a little bit ago, Bob, that there is kind of an access road to get to pit road, but that's not it.
Yeah, no, definitely not it. Looks like Giveshausen was taking a bit of an unorthodox way into the pit road area. I know we say the inside is the fastest way around, but I feel like the pavement's a little quicker than grass, wouldn't you think?
Typically, yes. I mean, I can think of sometimes that the grass might be a little bit faster if you're trying to take a shortcut, but here at this racetrack, nah, I think you got to be on the pavement. Getting word from the chat, Dirt Dogger 93 saying confirmation Monticelli lost his connection, totally blaming Gleason for his disconnect. Well, oh man, hold on to that thought, because the number 20 of Jason Freeman here, folks. Ooh, wrong button. He just had a big moment here coming out of turn number 2. Let's see if we can go on board with him right here, because look at him. He's sideways. He's kind of gnawing at the wheel. Watch this wiggle right there. Whoa, fantastic save there. You saw there, Bob, how he was just able to kind of fiddle with that wheel. It just kind of lurched back into the line. He was like, all right, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm good. Thumbs up, you know. But definitely a little bit loosey here in this long run.
Yeah, a lot of guys getting sideways. We just saw the 20 of Jason Freeman a little earlier. The 63 of Matt Leach had gotten sideways. He had actually gotten in the wall a handful of times. So a lucky moment there for Freeman is he was far enough away from the wall, was able to have enough real estate just to save the car and keep it out and keep it going the right direction.
And there you see the gap to Matt White. White just a little bit faster than Jason Freeman that time. Freeman also just a little bit faster than the car behind. That's Jason Gracias, who has got himself up now into the 3rd position in front of Mike Floppy Tellier, who in that number 97 has fallen back to 4th. There he is, running right behind Gracias, your points leader, and then you have to go a ways back to run Chicky, about to 2.6 seconds to the 52 machine, and then Chris Darling currently right in front of Zach Howell. Howell kind of finding some long run pace here. He's been able to start to move up, and we have another car on pit road. Hearing it's Dave Harvey in the Hisense Toyota Camry. You see left side tires going on. Ben Mashburn in the number 24. He is also come down to make a pit stop. He made that pit stop just over a lap ago. So some early adopters to pit road here, and we're getting pretty much to that point where we are now within the pit road window for these drivers to be able to make it on one more stop from here.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting to see what strategies are going to be in place by these teams. Some of these guys going in early, hoping to pick up a few extra spots, maybe get a caution on their side to try to take that wave around if they wound up losing a lap, and maybe even pick up some extra spots going through. But good idea by some of the guys further in the back, like Harvey, like Mashburn, to just get some fresh tires on there and get back to racing. It's less than 30 laps to go.
Here we see the number 4 machine on board, Jason Gracias. You see him sawing on the wheel, keeping that number 4 going straight. Luckily, he's able to hang on to it. Some absolute fantastic racing here on hand in the total Nonstop Racing lead here at the Homestead Miami. Matt White continuing to lead. Jason Freeman in the 2nd position. But that battle for 2nd is starting to heat up just a little bit. We saw the 4 really sawing on the wheel. He knows that he's going to have to try and close in on Matt White if he wants to win. And the first thing he has to do is get around the number 20 of Freeman. And here he goes, looking for 2nd spot here on the inside.
Man, that long run speed by the 4 of Jason Gracias is absolutely incredible. It takes his car a few laps to get going and get up to speed, because he started charging right around lap 18, 17 before the stage break, and now here we are again, another 20 or so laps since the stage break, and Jason Gracias looking to make another move.
Yeah, that number 4 is going to get up into second. So now what can he do with Matt White as we're now down to just 26 laps to go. A couple of drivers on pit road right now, including your pole sitter, hot lap Ron Chicky on pit road, Matt Leach, Tristan Maher, as well as Fernando Matos, all electing to come down. Trying to see if any other drivers beyond Mashburn and Harvey have pitted. Does not look like it. So we stay under green flag, and the number 9 is going to stay out. Jason Gracias is going to peel down pit road with Jason Freeman side by side. These two, they're going to have to sort that out to get to their pit box. You see left side tires going on those cars in their pit box right now. Looks like Fernando Matos is going to start rolling out of his pit box, and luckily they're able to kind of ghost through. Can all these drivers hit their pit box? Yes, they can. Now, when will this man, your current race leader, Matt White, elect to pit? Zach Howell in the 00 had actually worked his way up around Chris Darling, so he's been showing some long run pace. You see Darling right there in the rear. He might have thought about coming down pit road that time, but thought better of it. He'll stay one more lap. And whoa, caution flag is out. This is going to change everything, folks, because this caution flag coming in the kind of right in the middle of pit sequence. It is hot lap. Ron Chicky loses it back. Oh my goodness, that's a heavy hit to the outside wall in turn number 4.
Man, just a tough break for a lot of these guys who had just pitted. Lucky for them, though, is they're going to be able to take the wave around. But as we go on board with Ron Chicky, like we've seen all night, just quick little twitches coming out of the corner, little overcorrection, and then bam, head first into the wall. And what a great job by, I believe that was the 41 of Tony Lucarelli, just not able to, or just able to avoid the 52 of Ron Chicky.
Yeah, you see a lot of damage on that race car. We'll see if we can get another look, possibly with the number 41 machine, because definitely was very close. So there's Chicky. You see how sideways he was, and just bam, and oh man, Lucarelli just barely squeaking through there. And he was one of those drivers who had yet to pit, so he's actually going to be a beneficiary of this caution, because he'll be able to come down here shortly and pit under caution. In fact, here he comes. Matt White, race leader. Zach Howell, Chris Darling, Philip Scott, Tony Lucarelli, all coming down pit road. Looks like Austin Grover in the number 83 going to come down. Garrett Gleason in the number 7 being scored there in the top 10. In 7th, he's going to come down as Stephen Kegman up there at the top of the screen. But definitely going to be interesting to see exactly how this all pans out for the rest of the field. Some drivers here getting caught a lap.
Yeah, definitely. And luckily for those guys, they're probably going to be able to take the wave around unless they're coming in to top off for some fuel or something along those lines. But they'll be able to take the wave around. But very lucky for these guys on pit road right now. They get to essentially keep their top position, because after everything gets sorted out, it's going to be the guys who were still on the lead lap, then the lucky dog, if there was one, I believe, and then the wave around cars on top of that. So it's going to be interesting to see where this field lines up as they all get sorted out back on the racetrack.
Yeah, I think Jason Freeman right there, Mason-Dixon Cornhole Chevrolet, was your lucky dog. Billy Thornton in the number 5 machine, he's going to try and get some of that damage repaired. Remember, he has quite a bit of damage from the earlier accident out there. Mike Floppy Tellier there, however, strong run here tonight. He is going to have to take the wave around to get back on the lead lap. Same thing with your points leader, Jason Gracias. Matt Leach back there in the 63. Ben Mashburn going to have to take a wave around. Tristan Maher as well. Fernando Matos, Dave Harvey going to have to take the wave around. So quite a few drivers here kind of getting stuck in a precarious position. Vincent Valvano, he's actually 2 laps down, so he's going to get one of his 2 laps back here when he elects to use the wave around. So he'll be the only car being scored 1 lap down at this point in time. Hot lap Ron, your pole sitter here tonight, definitely not the night he's been looking for in the 52. He will be the only car 2 laps down being scored in 19th when we go back to green flag racing. But Bob, let's see if we can dial up the number 70 machine of Chris Darling, because I haven't talked too much to Chris Darling, and He's currently being scored in the second position. Bob, I think you caught up with him?
I do. Chris Darling, Bob Giaquinto up here in the 3-Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
All right, Chris. Well, right now, second place. Some decent long-run speed out of your car so far. How do you like it? How do you like your chances?
I don't really know if I have much, if anything, for them. Struggling to save tires compared to the rest of the field, so I'm probably just going to be trying to fight for the top 5.
And at least a little bit of a bright spot is you hadn't pitted before the caution, so you're able to keep at least some decent track position. How is this going to help with the tires with 20 laps to go?
It should help a ton. I was kind of hoping for a caution there. I knew I wanted to stretch it until we only had about 20 left, but I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's tough to save tires at this place, and it's going to be tough to outrun any of these faster guys.
And before we let you go, I know we've been talking a lot about the different lines in the track. Some guys are running right up against the wall, but some guys snapping loose. How hard is it to control your car on this track?
It's pretty tough. If you're on the low side, it gets pretty loose. But I mean, a lot of times you're just trying to get up high so you can get a little handle on the car. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Got about 20 to go. So
all right, Chris. Well, we'll let you get back to racing. Good luck for the rest of the race.
Thanks, guys.
All right, well, the green flag will be coming out here very, very shortly. The pace truck here going to dive down pit road. But, Bob, interesting to hear how difficult it is to save tires here tonight, especially on that number 70 of Chris Darling, who notoriously is one of the better ones at saving tires at these mile-and-a-half racetracks. But we'll have to wait and find out because the green flag is back in the air. Oh, my goodness. Look at a couple of those cars around the high side. The number 20 of Jason Freeman and the 97 of Mike Tellier. Both of those cars a little bit further back in the pack. Whoa, big wiggle there out of the number 70 of Darling. That's going to give the number 9 of Matt White an advantage. And Philip Scott in the number 8 is going to go. We have the 5 of Thornton around in the back of the pack. The number 5, Billy Thornton, is around, and he's going to be down there in the grass. Good thing is he hadn't used the fast pair here tonight, but that is going to bring us back under caution. And a lot of those cars, Bob, that took the wave around, they're going to be happy to see this caution come back out.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like the 5 just got really sideways coming out of turn 2, lost control. And I think the 52 of Ron Chicky got into the back of him. It was a black car. I couldn't exactly see who it was that made contact with him. But, you know, during the pit stops, I was sitting there, I was thinking, man, I'm surprised Billy hadn't used his fast repair, but now I'm sure he's glad he hadn't used it.
Yeah, you see him spinning around, and did look like Hot Lap Ron might have got a piece of that, unfortunately. But the good news for Hot Lap Ron is the fact that doesn't look like he got all too much damage from it, and he'll be able to continue on, although he is being scored 2 laps down in the 19th position. I'll bring up the standings for you there at the top of the screen here while we pace around under this caution flag. Well, let's see if we can pick up Zach Howell in the 00 machine, who's so far put together a pretty darn good run. Zach Howell, Peter Short in the 3Y TV booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, man, what's up?
Man, I'll tell you what, you've been put together a pretty solid race in that 00 Oreo Ritz machine here tonight. Definitely showed a lot of long run pace just a little bit ago before he made those green flag pit stops. And now you got a little bit of track position. What are your chances here on the top 5?
Well, just depends on everybody takes off and burns their stuff up. I'm still going to play the long game and see what happens.
Well, the lap count is winding down here. We'll probably have about 14 laps to go when we go back to green flag. How does that factor into the end of the race for you?
Well, the way everybody took off on that last restart, it looked like they were going for the 5-lap run versus the 14, kind of to speak. So can't lay off too much, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we've seen here tonight a couple of drivers kind of jump out front early, like the number 97 of Mike Tellier. We saw it with Matt Leach early in the race as well. It seemed like they just burned up their stuff too quickly. We heard from Chris Darling. Very easy to do so here. What are your thoughts about saving tire?
I mean, try to save as much as you can, but like you said, 14 to go. It's not a whole lot left to save.
Well, definitely going to be a good finish to this one, Zach. Great to have you out here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. Best of luck here for the finish.
Thanks, man.
All right, well, that is the 00 of Zach. Putting on a fantastic run here tonight, and definitely hope to see him up there near the front of the field. Another driver, Austin Grover, there in that race car, putting together a very solid run. Pace car lights continue to be on. So let's see if we can get a quick word with the man we ride on board with, Austin Grover here. Bob, why don't you take it away?
All right, well, Austin Grover, Bob Giaquinto up here in the 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, Austin. So far, so good. Up in a 4th place run. How's the car working for you so far?
Pretty good, actually. I'm just driving pretty good, and we threw fresh tires on just before that last caution, so I think we stand a pretty good shot here at least holding our own.
And, you had mentioned that last caution. How much did it help you? You hadn't pitted yet before the yellow came out, able to get some track position out of it, get some fresh tires, and stay up to the front. I'm sure that's a huge deal for you, especially with about 16 laps to go.
Oh, yeah. The fresh rubbers are awesome. I know the wave around guys behind us from the last caution there also have about a lap more on their tires than us, but I think we can hold our own with them.
For sure, and we've seen all race long a lot of different lines obviously going through the corners here. The lower line seems to be a little bit looser than the upper line. Seen a lot of guys snapping loose coming out of the corner. How hard is it on tires, and do you think you have enough to try to keep the position as the race goes on?
For a short run like we've got, I don't think the tires are going to be too bad, actually. I think we'll be able to push it and just drive it right to the limit.
Awesome. Well, we'll let you get back to it. I believe the pace truck lights are off, so we'll let you get back to it. Good luck for the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right, well, that is Austin Grover, currently running up there inside the top 5 in the 4th position, starting to the outside this time of Chris Darling. We did see that 2nd position change hands there under that brief green flag run. Philip Scott got to the outside of Matt White. What can he do here? It'll be 14 laps to go when the pace car pulls off, and there it goes, racing the hands of Matt White here once again. Green flag once again waving here at Homestead Miami as we race off into turn number 1. Great start by the number 9, and really that inside groove really took off there, Bob, as Chris Darling's able to reassert himself into that 2nd position.
Yeah, it really seems like the inside line on the restarts is the way to go. A little bit more grip and just a bit of a quicker way around, but oh man, what a great move to the inside. I believe that is the 83 of Austin Grover. Had it, but just got sideways, and into the wall is the 8 of Philip Scott, and a little bit of a traffic jam behind him as Dave Harvey gets sideways into the wall to the inside, and he'll slide across the track, but I believe we're going to stay green.
Yeah, green flag going to stay in the air. How about that one, folks? Give the flagman a shot of adrenaline or something, because he's going to need it. Meanwhile, Matt White continues to pull away. Chris Darling in 2nd. Zach Howell holding on to the 3rd position as of right now. And look at Mike Floppy Tellier in the number 97 getting loose up there on the high groove. 12 laps to go this time by here at Homestead Miami.
What a great battle here between the 00, the 4, the 97. You can fit all of these guys under a blanket right now. But just some absolutely fantastic racing. And don't forget, the 97 and the 4 were stuck on pit road during that caution, so they had to take the wave around. Only a lap older tires than some of these guys up front, but still some fantastic racing with about 11 laps to go as they come to the line.
Yeah, oh man, almost contact there coming out of turn number 4. Zach Howell and the number 9 both getting very, very close to one another. Definitely, maybe contact there between the two. Howell shoots up the racetrack. Let's see if we can go back and get another look at this one as they race off into turn number 1. Oh, there might have been a little bit of net code there, Bob. That 00 had just had kind of a funky twitch to it. Shot himself up the racetrack, but the good news is he didn't make any contact with the wall. Bad news is he lost the 3rd position, and now he's back to the 6th spot.
Yeah, just a tough break there from the technological demons, as Zach Howell just had a hard time controlling the car, and really no contact, no fault on either driver, just really a bad break.
And while these drivers back here are racing side by side, Matt White is continuing to pull away. Chris Darling trying to hold on to second. Oh, contact between the 70 and the 97, and Chris Darling is around. Contact there with Matt Leach, and unfortunately Chris Darling into the outside retaining wall. What a tough break. He was battling there for the second position. We'll get one more look at this one, but this is going to bring out another caution.
Man, a tough break there. The 97 just got to the inside, made a little bit of contact, and in the wrong place at the wrong time, the 63 of Matt Leach, who had a fantastic car in the earlier bits of this race, got into the side of Chris Darling.
Yeah, so we'll see this one from a little bit different angle. Yep, there's that contact, and unfortunately the number 70 just going right around. You see Matt Leach there in the 63. He tried to do what he could to avoid that, but you saw quite a bit of damage. Let's see if we can go on board with Leach here as they go off into the corner. In fact, we'll probably be able to see this contact happen. There's the contact. The 70 breaks loose. You see Leach trying to get on the brakes and just not able to bring it down the racetrack enough. Good job there by the 20 and the 17. Kind of just splitting Leach's vehicle. Let's see if we can get a ride on board with them real fast. There's the spinning car, and okay, just a little bit of three wide action there. Good job by both of them. But that's going to bring out another caution. Good news for all you folks in the chat who are Ron Chicky fans, because Ron Chicky, lucky dog, he'll be back on the lead lap. A little bit of rear end damage on that 52. He has a lot of cars to pass here in the final 5 laps or so when we go back to green. But for right now, Ron Chicky, he's going to have a really good job of getting back on the lead lap.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, started out on pole, had a bit of a tough go. As soon as the green flag dropped, he dropped a few positions, got sideways right before the stage break. Caught a lap down, spun out, but good for Chicky to be back on the lead lap with about 5 to go or so when we get the green flag again.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking a little bit further back in the pack, looks like Billy Thornton still hasn't used that fast repair in the Thornton Graphix number 5 machine, so a bit surprising to see that he hasn't come down and used it. The number 71 there right in front of him, Fernando Matos, he hasn't used the fast repair as well. A little bit of damage on the hood of the 3-wide TV Chevrolet. And then Tristan Maher in the number 17. Does he have any damage? No, it doesn't look like it. Good job avoiding that one. Tony Lucarelli there just outside the top 5. Let's see if we dial up Tony Lucarelli here in the number 41 machine. Tony Lucarelli, Peter Short and 3-wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Tony, you're just outside the top 5 here, but with the way they've been racing in front of you here over the last few laps, things have been getting pretty dicey. What are your thoughts here about snagging the top 5?
Well, I'm just hoping to finish one. I don't think I finished a race yet besides week 1 at the dirt, so hopefully we can keep it clean these last couple laps. I don't know.
Well, hopefully we haven't given you a little bit of the commentator's curse with bringing you up here in the booth, but definitely been a pretty solid night for that 41 machine. We've seen you make some very solid wreck avoidances as well. Talk us through that last one which just happened.
Yeah, I was hoping he didn't just come right down the track. I kind of just stayed in my line and hoped he cleared, so got lucky, I guess.
Well, definitely. Hopefully we can see you get to the checkered flag in one piece here shortly and maybe walk away with a top 5. And who knows, top 3 not out of the question as well, because we're about to go back to green. Best of luck there, Tony.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Tony Lucarelli, number 41, just outside the top 5. Keep an eye on him. 3rd car on that outside groove. And Zach Howell in the 00. Great job for the league newcomer. They're sitting just inside the top 5 in the 5th position. And just how badly damaged is the number 63 there, Matt Leach? It's going to be an interesting question, and I'm sure we're about to find out here pretty quick.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, and yeah, Tony Lucarelli is definitely going to have to keep an eye out for the 63 to see if he's able to get going and keep up with the restart, because he's starting right behind him. So it's going to be interesting with that damage to see how much it affects the 63 as we are getting ready to come back to green.
We're about to go back to green. All the flash bulbs in the grandstands. The field headed down. And the green flag now waving here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Field racing off into turn number 1. Great start once again for Matt White. Jason Gracias in the number 4 machine. He's looking for second. Your points leader had a third place average finish so far this season. He's going to get up into second. Great restart for him. Matt Leach in the 63 so far holding his own. Tony Lucarelli, we just talked with him. He's going to get himself into the top 5. Here comes Jason Freeman in the number 20. Zach Howell, so far the biggest loser in the 00, goes from 5th back to 7th, side by side here for 5th.
What a great battle there between the 41 and the 20, and, well, pretty much everyone else in the field side by side as they head down in turn number 1. Lucarelli has the position. Looks like the 20 was thinking about taking a move to the inside, and now he does, but watch out, Zach White is there too. But as they come out of turn number 2, Jason Freeman score him up one position, and now Zach White on the attack on the 41.
Yeah, definitely that 00 trying to attack here, and ooh, Howell there on the back bumper of the 41, and oh my goodness, we jinxed it. The 41 of Tony Lucarelli hard into the inside wall, and folks, commentator's curse strikes again. We just heard from him. He just wanted to finish a race here tonight, not end up in the inside wall. A little bit of contact there with Zach Howell in the 00, turned him into the inside wall, and unfortunately his race will go no further. Meanwhile, speaking of going further, the green flag has stayed out, and we will try to finish this race under green flag conditions. Look at this battle back here. Jason Freeman and Matt Leach. Leach all over the back bumper of Freeman. Freeman's been able to wriggle himself here into the top 4.
Man, yeah, what a great race by Freeman. Haven't really talked too much about him throughout the race. He was staying consistently in around the top 8, but a great race so far for Jason Freeman. 3rd in points right now, looking to pick up some points over Philip Scott, who's in 2nd right now, 7th on the racetrack.
White flag going to be in the air this time. Matt White in the number 9 machine. We heard that he absolutely loves this joint. He now just has 1.5 miles left to go. Jason Gracia solidly in 2nd over Mike Tellier. Freeman now solidly in 4th. He's pulled away from Matt Leach. The best battle out there on the racetrack right now is the battle for 6th between Maher, Howell, Scott, Harvey, and Grover. What can they do to finish this thing out? But coming out of turn number 4, it will be Matt White going to victory lane at Homestead Miami, his favorite racetrack. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Gracias, your points leader, in 2nd. 3rd place to Tellier, Freeman 4th, Leach in 5th. Tristan Mayer holds on to 6th over Zach Howell, Philip Scott, Dave Harvey, Austin Grover. And how far did Tony Lucarelli fall? All the way down to 19th. Chris Darling in the number 70. Something must have happened to him as well. We'll have to see if we can figure out what happened to the number 70 of Darling here over the closing laps, because the number 70 must have had something happen to him. We'll see if we can find out. Oh, something did happen to the number 70. Here we go. Going through turn number 3 and 4. Contact there with Ben Mashburn. Those are teammates. And Fernando Matos in the 71 gets collected as well. He goes for a spin, kissing the inside wall. So it was a wild finish here tonight. But Matt White in the number 9 machine did a little bit of celebratory donuts. We'll see if we can catch those donuts here on the front stretch for you here on the 3Y TV replay before we dial up some post-race interviews. And there you see it, the number 9 on Matt White. I'm sure he's really happy to finally get to victory lane, Bob.
Absolutely. I mean, he said during our interview during the race that Homestead Miami is his favorite track, and, well, he definitely put his money where his mouth is and absolutely showed up for this race and had a very fantastic and clean run in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely great to see that here tonight. But folks, we're just going to step away for just a brief moment. We'll line up some post-race interviews for you, and we'll be right back here on 3 Wide TV. All right, folks, welcome back here tonight, and we are at the Homestead Miami Speedway, where this race has come to a conclusion, and we have caught up with tonight's third-place finisher, Mike Floppy Tellier. Mike, a very interesting night for that number 97 machine. We saw you lead a couple of laps right there, I believe, at the beginning of the second and final stage, and you were able to get away from the field, but you were slowly but surely reeled in, but you were able to bounce back here for a third place finish. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a rather interesting night. Like you said, I got the lead off an amazing pit stop by my crew there at the end of the first stage, and somehow beat Matt and Jason Gracias off the pit road. And yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to try and push the pace and get everyone spread out a little bit, but hopefully not burn up my tires too much. And then, yeah, Matt and Jason caught me, and I just kind of rode around till pit stops, and there was that unfortunate caution that caught us a lap down.
Yeah, when you look at the top 5 finishing order here tonight, you got Matt, Jason, Mike, Jason, Matt. You are the sandwich between the Jasons and the Matts here tonight. They were very, very quick. But tell us a little bit about the pace and how good it was to get a podium finish tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I was quick in practice. I didn't think I had a long run car. So like I said at the beginning of the stage, I just wanted to get everyone spread out and hope that that tire fall off wouldn't be too bad and I could hold my own and just aim for a top 5, hopefully get into the playoff position. And I think I finished second at the end, just second or third stage 1 and third at the end of the final race. Or so it was a good overall night. Just easy into the corners, save your tires and hope for the best. I guess I took out Chris Darling there. I came up a little bit in turn 3 and bumped him, and he spun around. It's really unfortunate. Didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I know as a race car driver myself here in iRacing, I don't think any driver ever sets out with the intention of getting into anyone out there on the racetrack. You want a good, hard race, and I know as a driver myself, sometimes you get that in your back of your mind, and you start thinking about it. You let it ruminate in your head. But closing of the race, you kind of have to shake it off. Tell us what was going through your head at that point.
At that point, it was just, I don't know, like you said, just got to kind of close it off and finish the race and hope you don't do anything else to ruin your chances. And that's all I really tried to do there with the last restart.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely good job with that because you're able to walk away with a top 3 finish. Of course, next week we're going to the Nashville Fairgrounds from the sounds of things. Should be a good race. What are your thoughts about Nashville? Of course, that's a little bit of a non-points event there. It's an exhibition race, but then in a couple weeks we go to Bristol for the next points-paying race. Tell us about the next 2 races for you.
Well, I've never turned a lap around Nashville. I'm excited to go there. It's one of my favorite cities. And Bristol, also we're heading back to Tennessee. And yeah, I don't know. I like running the High Line around Bristol. It seems the long run seems to be the way to go. So I'm excited for Bristol.
Yeah, definitely going to be some good short track action here on 3Y TV over the next 2 weeks here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. But Mike, before we let you go, got any shout outs for us?
Yeah, the Saturday Stadium Truck Series starts this Saturday, so hopefully we get a big turnout and see a bunch of guys there.
Yeah, definitely going to be pretty cool. If you guys are interested in the chat watching, running a little bit of the Pro 2s, I believe, this season. Is that correct, Mike?
That's correct.
Yeah, definitely go check out the Total Nonstop Racing League Discord. There is a link in the description. Hit the Show More button right underneath the iRacing graphic, and you'll be able to bring up the Total Nonstop Racing Discord. You click on that, you can sign up to run a little bit of the Pro 2s and a little bit of this ARCA season if you so want as well. So definitely come out and join that. But Mike, best of luck next week at Nashville and then the week after at Bristol.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, that is tonight's third place finisher, the number 97 of Mike Tellier, but I believe that Bob Giaquinto's caught up with your second place finisher, your points leader, Jason Gracias.
I do. Jason Gracias, Bob Giaquinto here in the 3Wide TV booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Bob.
All right, Jason. Well, second place finish. Very smooth and fairly uneventful race for you this race around. Tell me about the car. How did it feel for you out there?
This was a tough track. The car was good. I went in with a mentality of saving. So you saw in the end of the first stage, I reeled in third place. I was closing on second, and then on that long green flag run, I actually came back from I think like about a second and a half back to running down the leader, and then I was hoping to short pit to just jump the leader, come out with about a lap or two fresher tire, and just try to put myself in advantage. But luck wasn't on my side today. Me and Floppy and Jason Freeman got trapped a lap down, so unfortunate, but still a blast out there. A lot of good racing.
And you know, you had mentioned it there, Jason, with the long run speed, being able to save your tires and really get to use the tires when the time needed it. Especially there before the first stage, really kind of came out of nowhere to pick up the third place finish in that stage. Tell me a little bit about that in the beginning of the race.
Well, I went in and uh, I knew that the guys behind me were interested in stage points, and I knew I was in good position. That starting second, that if I pushed for a lap or two and then just backed off, I could reel them in. And it proved right. 63 kind of went backwards a little bit. Um, Same thing with the 20, I think, and I was reeling in the 97 towards the end. So tires are the name of the game at Homestead.
And you know, taking a look at the point standings, you're going to be increasing your lead in the points over Philip Scott and Jason Freeman with second place finish. I'm sure that feels good for you as we go in next week to the exhibition race.
Yeah, consistency is nice, but I don't know what the chase is like. So uh, that's probably going to be my worry. I don't know if points get reset or how that plays out, so that should be interesting.
Definitely, and looking forward to next week, Nashville Fairgrounds racetrack. A little bit of a fun exhibition race. What are your thoughts going in there?
Well, I'm going to wish everybody that is racing to have a good time. Unfortunately, I will not be there. My wife and I are going on a little trip to LA to see some family. So unfortunate, but everyone who is going to go have a good time. Make sure you guys tune in. It should be a blast.
Fair enough. And Jason, before I let you go, any shout outs or thank yous you have for us?
Yeah, thanks to Thornton Graphix for sponsoring this league and Dunn Raceway Park, a premier RC course in the great state of Pennsylvania. Um, Through ITV, you and Peter do a great job broadcasting these races. I'm sure everybody who's been watching has had a blast. And thanks to Garrett for making this possible. So, everybody, please come join the league. Please support Garrett. Join the Discord at least and say, hey, Garrett, thank you for putting this together.
Awesome. Well, Jason, thank you so much, and congrats on your second place finish.
Thanks, Bob. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your week.
You too.
All right, well, that's your second place finisher, Jason Gracias, as well as your points leader coming into tonight. But now we get to talk to the man himself. Matt White led 53 laps tonight. Definitely put on a show in that Mopar number 9 machine. And I was saying at one point here tonight, Matt, that I absolutely love that Casey Kane number 9 scheme that he used to run with Mopar on the hood. I just love the looks of it. It was lightning quick back then, and it was lightning quick here tonight at Homestead Miami. Talk us through your night.
I mean, from the beginning, I knew I had a rocket just from the start of practice. Put a 7 on the board in practice. I was like, all right, I got this figured out. Was just going to ride, just see where we landed. And then Matt was running up top there for a while. And I was like, man, I know the faster's down low. And as soon as I put it to the bottom, it was on rails the entire night. Wasn't worried about anybody there. And then unfortunately, that caution came out for everybody else. But for me, I could pit and pull away essentially after that.
Yeah, that caution flag that came out there during the pit stop sequence definitely threw some people for a loop, but luckily we got pretty much everyone back on the lead lap at one point there towards the end. So it wasn't exactly easy for you, Matt, but definitely picking up the win here tonight. Definitely great to see you back in victory lane here in the Total Nonstop Racing League.
Yeah, very, very happy to be. It's been several years since I've been in the victory lane here at Total Nonstop, and I mean, like a track like tonight with the car. I mean, it was just a perfect match in heaven. When I joined, I was like, I'm just gonna ride and have some fun, but I mean, when they got a car that quick, I mean, it's nowhere running but up front. So I was really proud of it tonight.
Yeah, and Matt, you raced here in last season, which was the resurrection season. Tonight we had 21 cars out there on the racetrack. I mean, that is huge for the resurrection of this league. And, you kind of said, hey, I'm going to go out there and have some fun. But I'm sure you're finding that the competition keeps ramping up here in the series.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, last year you were kind of the nemesis. I thought all the time there. You were always winning there, and frustrating in a good way. Coming through here, like it's been a while since I've been back, but Matt was pretty fast there in the beginning there. Then the 4 of Jason, and then the 20 of Jason Freeman there. They seem to be pretty quick as well, and when that caution came out, they had pitted early, like 2 or 3 laps early. I was going to try to run it out just to make sure I had fuel there. And when they pitted, I was like, all right, well, I got to pit here pretty quick. And I was lining everything up to pit, and caution came out. I was like, well, don't got to worry about that no more. And that kind of put them in the back. And for me, that was a little relief. I was like, okay, yeah, like now I can just kind of cruise and put it on cruise control. But Mike was really fast as well tonight too.
Yeah, we were saying just a little while ago that the top 5 was a little bit of a palindrome here tonight. We had Matt, Jason, Mike, Jason, Matt. How about that for a top 5 here? But definitely a fantastic job here, Matt. I know you're kind of running a partial schedule, but next week there is a run for the money at the brand new Tennessee track. Nashville. There we go. At Nashville. And then, of course, Bristol in a couple of weeks. Will we see you in any of those races?
Yeah, I'm going to be ramping up the schedule here. Work is starting to fall off, so I can start making the races more frequently here. So I'll be making pretty much the rest of the season. That's my goal. But I got to work first. So
absolutely. Well, great to hear that, Matt. Hopefully, can see you out there on the racetrack some more. Before we let you go, you got any shout outs?
yeah, I just want to thank Garrett for putting this whole thing together. I mean, from the beginning to end. Want to thank everybody that's come on board, and it's really helped. Matt came on board, needed some stuff in this league. Really, puts people in position to come out and have a good time. We try not to leave anybody out. So that's really my main shout out tonight is all these people here that have been there from way back then until now. We've always put it together.
Yeah, absolutely. A great group of people here in the Total Nonstop Racing League. My first ever racing league that I ever raced in back in the day, back in EA Sports days.
Oh, yeah. EA Sports in the game.
Man, I'll tell you what, those were quite the days. But Matt, what a day for you here tonight, getting the checkered flag. Best of luck there over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully see you on the race.
As well, Peter. Good having you.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for your post-race interviews. And Bob, great to hear that from Matt Leach. Very excited to go to victory.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great to see a lot of these older guys who were racing in the NRO 3 days, or like Matt had said, the EA Sports days, coming back in and racing here in the revival of Total Nonstop Racing. It's it's always a great feeling, and especially with having such a huge field tonight with 21 guys out there, it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Time to go through those 21 drivers in the final race results. Matt White picking up his first win here in the Total Nonstop Racing Revival. Jason Gracias in the number 4. Coming home in second, your points leader in that number 4 Discount Tire Dodge. Mike Floppy Tallier coming home in third in the number 97. Jason Freeman, good run for him in fourth. Once again, Matt Leach in fifth after making some contact with the outside wall. Seen some post-race chat. Philip Scott saying, I want to win so bad, and Matt Leach saying, ditto that. So I know he wants to get to victory lane. Tristan Mayer in the number 17, solid run for him. Down in 6th. Zach Howell, 00 machine, a little bit of contact there towards the end of the race with the number 41. He comes home in 7th. Philip Scott, 8 in the 8th position down there. Dave Harvey and Austin Grover rounding out your top 10 there, Bob.
And finishing in the 11th position, the newcomer, number 24, Ben Mashburn. Ron Chicky, our pole sitter, fell down to the 12th position after getting into a couple different tussles out there on the racetrack. Billy Thornton comes in 13th, Vincent Valvano in 14th, Stephen Kegman rather, in the 15th position, Garrett Gleason in 16th, and rounding out the cars on the lead lap, the 71 machine of Fernando Matos. Christopher Darling 1 lap down in 18th. Tony Lucarelli 2 laps down. Unfortunately, the recipient of the broadcaster's curse coming in 19th, and in 20th is the 44 machine of Kyle Givishausen.
And rounding out your 21 car field here tonight, Matt Monticelli had some connection issues there just before the halfway mark. Definitely a tough break for him. But yeah, going back to the number 41 machine, Tony, we won't bring you into the booth next week until after the race. Hopefully it is after the race. We don't want to give you that commentator's curse because it definitely was in full force here tonight at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Before we go, we want to give a shout out to a couple of the league sponsors. Of course, Thornton Graphix. We highlighted them a couple of times here tonight. Billy Thornton putting together Thornton Graphix. In fact, Billy Thornton out there coming home with that 13th place finish here tonight. Make sure you check them out. Link in the description, as well as DRP Indoor Off-Road Racing up there in Old Forge, Pennsylvania. If you have an indoor/off-door RC car and want to go do some jumps up on the carpet track, well, go check them out. Their new season is starting for a very respectable fee. Go check them out on Facebook. You have plenty of information on their Facebook page on how to sign up for their new season, which will be starting here very, very shortly, if not this weekend. So go check out DRP. Definitely a great group of people there, as well as our friends over at SimTV for putting together the camera package that we have each and every week to bring you all of the angles here from high atop the Homestead Miami Raceway and all the other tracks here and in between. But for myself, Peter Short, Bob Giacinto, we'll see each and every one of you guys next week here on 3 Wide TV for more Total Nonstop Racing action. We'll see you then.